I just felt we needed to do something more. And so what I've been doing the last couple of years is this. This slide is up when students come in, and so it makes them, I'm sorry, do you want something?
Oh, no, nothing.
Oh, okay. It makes them wonder, what are we going to be doing here? Now, I do teach secondary math methods. I teach the elementary math content. Yes, Joe's been through this once. The elementary math content, but my primary course to teach is the, we call it quantitative reasoning. It's the math for all the majors who are like political science, English, languages, PE, music. It's the basic liberal arts math. And many of them, as you know, are not that excited about taking math. So I'm trying to infuse some excitement. So, you know, obviously we're already in our little group, so we don't have to worry about that. But we'd like to find the message as it pertains to this workshop and also to math. All right? So, are you ready? Ready. Okay, so first I probably...
Oh, these are fun. Oh, wow, that's long.
No. Well, I'm not going to play all of it. I was very disappointed because the one that I had wasn't up anymore.
This is in Chicago.
We're looking for the map.
This was for open. Yeah. Remember that? She's like the only one.
Everybody else is who's this guy?
No, what math do you see?
Signal processing in the background. Exponential crowd participation.
Symmetry in the stage arrangement.
Right, there's symmetry.
Singer out of tune.
What was that? I'm not hearing your comments, Joe.
Singer out of tune.
Seeger attitude.
Singer out of tune.
Singer attitude. And should be able to come with some more. Right, you're just as confused as we followed as my students are in the beginning of what is this got to do with this
Yeah, no,
class?
tempo. I don't know, are we going into like the music aspect of
You
it?
could talk about the music.
You can talk about the technology that's all the back and forth.
Uh-huh. Chaos, yeah. Organized chaos.
I mean, we can talk about the quantity, the quantities, the amount of space required for that crowd.
So there's a lot of planning that goes in.
Was it exponential growth for the flash mob?
It could
The
be.
flash mob.
It could be.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yes,
like
with the one girl that starts, then gradually expands out.
Did she not know that was coming out?
It's before the part when she started.
I was seeing polygons last night.
Oh,
And their arms. Yeah. She's so excited.
And there's only one Oprah.
it's only one Oprah.
Pioneer networking for me. The money that's being lost for the streets being closed.
Oh yes, there was a controversy there, wasn't there?
About what?
The money being lost for the streets being closed. People can't get through.
Well, it was pretty good. See the symmetry? They're
Yeah, what's it
flipping
mean?
from side to side.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so crazy teacher here wants to know where you see the math. You know, with this small group, I think we can just talk about it as a group. Where do you see it? Okay, we said a couple of things. We said symmetry, right?
Are we looking for a basic? Like,
Patterning. Was there some?
Dance moves are repetitious.
Transformation.
Yeah.
Yes, and there were some transformations.
definitely the
What else?
exponential crowd participation. That was-
Right, the exponential growth. What about in the very beginning? Do you remember how it started? There was a shot of Chicago
Honest architecture.
and the architecture and all of that, because we need math for the architecture. What else?
The financing behind it is its own version of math, from
Right,
how much
exactly.
it costs to pay them, to what overhead to pay to do this, to what you're paying these people to participate, if anything, to just what it costs to build this, whatever their little shell is.
Right, and all of that is planning and scheduling, which is also math.
Timing and special effects.
Timing. Also, just the simple things of like how many restrooms do we need? And this was in September, it was really warm, hot. People standing outside for 5 hours before this actually started.
Really?
I know.
Passing out?
I'm sorry?
People passing out.
Well, what they had was energy drinks that they gave out.
Oh.
And they gave out, you know, they had other little snacks and things because it was difficult once you were in that area
To get
to
out.
move from there.
But how did they know ahead of time what to do? Or did they practice?
That's a good question.
They sent it out online and then people.
Okay, I didn't know much about this.
What
so
it
that's
was,
fine.
if you wanted the background on it, my daughter signed up.
Okay.
And
Oh.
so we had tickets to go. So we were by the prompter. When you see the big screen, the prompter, we were there.
Were you
And-
dancing?
Yes, I was.
How awesome is that?
Well, the thing, what they did was that it was the Tuesday after Labor Day weekend. And so they had gotten groups of dancers together and they taught them the dance on the weekend. And then the dancers were to be dispersed among the crowd. And so when we got there at noon, they started right away. They would grab you and they would start teaching you. And then they give you, you got some
Energy
time
drink,
off.
let's do that.
Right, time off, and then they come over to you again and they go, okay, let's form a group. Let's get practicing on this dance again. And so they did that, and we were there for 5 hours before this thing started. So yeah, I had to figure out, where am I ever going to use this? You know, this seems like such a waste. Standing around, there were no chairs. You were kind of herded into an area.
Yeah, but it was really claustrophobic at times.
A little, not too bad. 'Cause
No?
you know
Okay.
why? Because they had us
Had
make
enough
sure that we
space,
were
they
having
had
enough
enough
space.
running.
Yeah, but it was just the standing of it for so long, and it was hot, and it was like, come on.
So can we
Let's
rewind
get
and look
going.
for you?
Yeah.
That's what my friends would say. Where are you?
Where are you?
Yeah, so what kind of reactions do I get? Well, that wasn't. Okay, so what's the message as it pertains to the class? Where's the math? And I came across this, which I thought was really interesting because this was the director that came up with this. I'm not sure whether it's the idea or whether he was fed the idea and decided what to do with it. And so if you read his quote, think about that for a minute and see if it can apply to math or what you do. What do you think? Patty?
Oh, that's what I want to see. I want to see more audience participation.
Yeah, don't we?
Yes.
I mean, you could go to your classroom and teach to the empty room right now, but is that really teaching? Right.
Or
And
get a
so
100% passing rate.
That would be a lot easier.
That's
Yeah.
true, 100% passing rate. But I thought that, I was trying to emphasize to my classes that that's what we need. We need this for both of us to be successful here. And some of them have really picked up on that. This was some of their different ideas that we picked up over the years. Function, big function. thought that was pretty cool. Louder the music, more energized the crowd was. They thought it was coordinated, synchronized, pattern. It began with 1. So we could talk about exponential growth. We could also talk about science and how a virus is spread, just 1. And we were all, we were warned that we were not to move until it was our turn to move. If we moved at the wrong time, I'm not saying that your dance steps were always right, but if you moved at the wrong time when everybody else was just standing there, they'd never show your picture. So you weren't going to be on TV. Obviously, the number of people, the architecture, the timing. I like this one. Miss a step and you're out of sync, just like in math. Especially with that procedural knowledge, we just got, and that's kind of how the dance was to me. You do this, you do this, you do this. So I thought that was interesting. And then going back to the architecture, the height and the angles, the choreography, beat of the music, because we know there's a math-music connection. And group of factors yield the final product. So lots of different things going on all the time, but we came together to give us a final product, is what they said. So what do you think your students would say?
Oprah.
Sorry.
Who's Oprah? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've shown this as recently as March, and I asked students about whether they felt that it was dated, because I think you could do this with some other kind of video. The problem is, I really like the music too. I like the idea that it's going to be a good day, good term. So I'm trying to reinforce that part too. So,
Yes.
And the fact that you were in it, now that we know, makes it, there's a relevance there, even if we didn't see it at first, it'd be like, oh, she was in there, then you want to see it all over again.
Oh, no. Well, I guess people have picked me out for the back of my head. It's kind of funny, because you never see the back of your head. But some friends had seen it. You could get, at the time you could find all sorts of little videos on it. But, yeah, and then these were some things that I had come up with. But, yeah, just something different. And my students say it creates some excitement. And so maybe you have some ideas for some other videos, ones we've shown.
I think when it's something that you relate to and you're excited about, the kids will pick up on it. So you were there, you were very excited about it. That's cool.
Yeah, well, at one point too, I had some people who had been there or they knew about it. And then I also had the kid who worked with the Black Eyed Peas and he hated them.
Oh,
So
jeez.
Downer, that I was showing this, and I said, try and get past that. It's not the reason I'm showing this. It's not an advertisement, but
That's great.
Because I'm in it.
okay. Well,
Oh,
I know that's
that's
cute.
Right.
Spatial.
Very cute.
That is very cute.
I still don't get that.
That's funny.
I've tried.
Yeah.
Well, what do
Your
you
students
think?
don't get it?
I guess, before we move on, what other ideas or things do you do to open the class in the fall that, tries to build some excitement, some interest rather than, oh God, this is math? Especially if you've got that low level class.
I always get them started right away on some problem, but,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I save the rules for later. They know the rules.
Of course.
Especially
Yeah.
if it's 10th period.
I've done,
What do you do, Joe?
I do 2-day origami.
Yeah, an origami.
So
Okay.
my biggest issue with students is that they need to pay attention when I'm saying something, because when I say something, I'm trying to give them good information, especially with the concept or something, or directions or something. So when I say something, they need to follow directions. So I say, here's the directions, and I'll fold the piece, make sure everyone's at the same spot. And usually they're like, oh, this is different, and then the whole idea is that, well, with origami, you have to, if you want to get better, you have to practice. With math, you want to get better, you have to practice. If you want to understand what I'm telling you with origami, with what I did, you have to pay attention. So there's a bunch of things that the students just shout out after this activity that I do. We're going to get to a hard part. You're not going to understand what you need. Patience. Because some math is going to be really hard, and sometimes you just have to try it again, or have a friend help you out with the same difficult fold that you didn't get, but then after you get shown to you once, you can do it again. Because origami is a bunch of repetition. So if the fold is difficult, one fold will be difficult, then the same fold on the opposite side needs to be done. So your friend could do one fold, and then you could do the other fold. So like partnering up and then asking questions, not just to the teacher, but to somebody else.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that come out from just that one 2-day lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I could start with something simple, and then are we ready to do something more difficult? Yes. And maybe like a simple dog-shaped 3 folds, and we're done. It looks like a dog. And then we can go to a step where it's 50 folds, and then we get like a crane or something. But then, go through all that.
How many steps have you been able to do with them?
I don't know. I've never really counted.
I just, see if every year it can go another step further.
Yeah, so that's what I do. I get them kind of. It's not math, kind of, but it is.
It's
And
math.
then,
It is.
Just
It
to
is.
say,
The visualization part of it, yeah.
they get the idea of practicing. At least.
Well, it's something to grab them. I know I had a friend who did tessellations in the beginning. She would spend a day or 2 on tessellations. It's just something different to try and. I guess I'm trying to break that culture of.
Oh, I hate math.
Oh, here we go again.
Yes,
Yes.
that
Oh.
failure also, and the fact that this is not algebra, which is really, in the beginning, they all say they hate algebra. I get some midway through the course and go, oh, I wish I was in algebra. Because if you've seen discrete, we're doing graph theory, and we do scheduling, we do bin filling, things that, really? Yeah, this is all math. So it's something a little bit different. Okay, anything else anybody would like to share? Okay, well, I have a couple of, why that went there, I don't know.
So cute.
I guess I stole it from Facebook. I guess that's where ETA, so they shouldn't mind too much. Okay, area of a circle. We just get taught that formula. Do we know why it works?
Where they cut it up, slice up the
Mhm.
circle.
Yeah, this one is, they show it here, just dissecting it, putting it back together, and then thinking about half the circumference times the radius. So it gives us the pi r squared. But what about the others? What about the surface area of a sphere? I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether, I kind of see that. There is, if you're not familiar with it, there's a number of videos where you peel an orange, so you're getting the surface area of the sphere, and then you're putting it on 4 circles that have the same radius as the sphere, and it kind of matches up.
Mhm.
Okay. But this one, I like this one better. It's neater, it's cleaner, and I think you could do it with students.
That's what I saw for
This one doesn't have any sound to it, which is fine as far as I'm concerned. Because it I hope it makes the students focus a little bit more. And here we go. So there's our sphere with radius r units. And it takes a while to get to where we're going here. Okay, here we go. Pretty good music. All right, this rolling thread around the bottom. So in reality, you could have a styrofoam ball and you could put the thread, yarn, I would think, going around it. And I will speed it up. Oh, here it goes, going a little bit quicker here. So it's without overlapping, without the spacing. Have you seen this one before?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. One of my student teachers found it.